And I just want to reiterate something that Kevin said about the evacuations and listening really to the local officials. I think those officials in those really hard-hit counties, I think, did a good job. I think citizens responded very appropriately, and then to be here where you have a storm hitting close to 130 mile an hour, just under a Cat 4, and not as of now have any reported fatalities, it's probably something that most people would not have bet on, 4 or 5 days ago, knowing how strong the storm was going to get. So my hat's off to the people on the ground there who did a good job. And also, just it should be said that this was a pretty solid forecast. If you look, we were back here this weekend, and it was a Big Bend impact, and there was a little variation along the Big Bend, but the bottom line is these forecasts were pretty doggone accurate, particularly compared to what happened with Hurricane Ian, where we went in a matter of 48 hours to potentially having a Big Bend impact, and then all of a sudden, migrating all the way down to Southwest Florida. This one was there. It was keyed in, and it was very, very accurate. So I appreciate that, and that was great. Okay, do we have any questions?
I know damage assessments are ongoing, but is there any damage you're finding to state buildings, including prisons, in the path?
I don't think so. Do we have any? Not reports yet. I mean, so, the storm just went through yesterday, so I think today will be an important day to be able to get around and look at everything and get a better assessment, but there's not been any specific report about any state buildings.
Describe the damage that you saw yesterday and compare that to Hurricane Ian last year.
Well, what I saw was just a lot. I mean, there's a massive amount of debris because you have a lot of trees in this part of the state. And there were trees knocked down. They would knock down power lines. There were branches and all kinds of stuff kind of everywhere. You did see structural damage to buildings. I saw roofs torn off of businesses. We saw other types of hurricane damage. There's no question. Ian was different because where that hit, I mean, you saw the boats. I mean, it would take boats and move the boats, hundreds of yards, even thousands of yards, and they'd just be in the middle of a field somewhere, and you're like, how does that happen? And so that was, I think, a level of power that it came in basically at a Category 5, and then it was in a much more populated area. So more opportunity, I think, to have destruction, whereas I think this one, there was definitely a lot of destruction, but it was so much debris and so much woods, and that's just going to require a lot to be able to clean all that up.